Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the finale of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory Season 1, where today we're here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
There may not be points or prizes, but it still helps you look good.
So yeah, just Claire, Emma even talking about just a couple of little things that I did sort of off camera. I actually had to go in one of the classic car challenges because a couple of people were saying, you know, they might actually give R&D points. It's quite clear that they don't. But yeah, as we move on though into the final race of the F1 2018 Season 1, you can just see in terms of performance, well, ever since Russia obviously we've completely plateaued, and well, if you just look, Sauber and Toro Rosso both are now past me once again. They have been actually for the last couple of races, which unfortunately means, you know, that we come into the final weekend of the season, basically where we started the season, all the way down in last place. But obviously as we move into Season 2, we've banked up quite a lot of R&D points. You can see already up to 2,800. Season 2, that's where we are obviously really going to try and jump up the order. You know, the aim for Season 2 is probably to try and make sure that we're a midfield runner overall and just see, you know, what we can get. I'd aim to be scoring points in most races, but obviously we'll have to wait and see about that. But yeah, as we move in towards Season 2, though, obviously for those of you guys that have been keeping up with the series, obviously the aerodynamics will be changing, and obviously after this Grand Prix we will be putting on a whole host of upgrades, hopefully, onto the car as we move into Season 2, because obviously it would be very ideal, as well as obviously the fact that a couple of you guys have said that there is actually a big bonus of R&D at the end of Season 1 as well, so obviously we're looking forward to that. But let's move on then into the final free practice of the year.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, where the temperatures and humidity are high and conditions will be tough for the drivers. So what challenges does this Abu Dhabi circuit particularly pose the drivers?
This is a very difficult circuit to master. It's a braking circuit, and that's where the majority of mistakes will happen here today. The final sector is particularly difficult as it's a very technical part of the track to get right, especially in qualifying when you're right on the limit.
So here we are then in the final practice session of the year, and obviously pretty much just the same sort of story as it has been over the last few. It's going to be the purple score on the track acclimatization lap, but unfortunately, yeah, I don't know what it is still with the sort of other performances. What I'm going to try and do for Season 2 is lower down the team's goals for me, and then hope obviously that can really sort of drop down the sort of aims in free practice, because, well, we do really need to be trying to get a whole lot more R&D from those free practice programs. Season 2, yeah, we're really going to try and grind it out on the whole, you know, get most of the sort of R&D scored week in, week out overall there, and obviously that'll really hopefully help us out, try and move our way up the order. In terms of R&D, though, 165 claim takes us up now to near enough 3,100 R&D points. I don't think we've ever sort of really seen R&D as high as that. We can just see, as we move on into qualifying,
Here we are at the beautiful Yas Marina circuit, where qualifying is about to begin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the action.
So here we are then, here qualifying for the final race of the season.
Right, it's not going to be easy getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
So the team, yeah, very sceptical about whether we're going to be able to make it out into Q2. The main aim for me really is probably just going to try and beat my teammate Lance Stroll there as we come out of the final corner. It's actually going to be quite a decent lap in my personal opinion there. Only 1.2 of Lewis Hamilton's time there, P4 at that stage of the session there. And as we skip on right to the end of the session there, we're a tiny bit up as we come through the final couple of corners. Unfortunately dropped all the way down to P17 now out of the final corner. Unfortunately, it is actually going to be a tiny improvement there, 14 thousandths of a second, but it won't be enough. It will only be P17 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and then not too disappointed with that. We were, as I said, able to beat my teammate Lance Stroll in the final qualifying session of the year there by 0.2 of a second. But yeah, certainly not too happy with that result, dropping out with both of the Saubers as well as Brendan Hartley there. But let's move on then into Abu Dhabi, the final race of the season.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here on Yas Island today through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are plenty of opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, at turns 8 and at turn 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps to come. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Sebastian Vettel. They've had a fantastic campaign, it's been a wonderful year, and they come into this weekend's Grand Prix as a fully deserving champion.
I agree it's been a truly impressive season, but championship or no, I don't think they'll be gently cruising around to the finish line. In fact, with points no longer a concern, there's a lot less to risk, so we may even see a more aggressive approach.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Magnussen, Lewis Hamilton. They've taken a grid penalty, and Hülkenberg, Alonso, Grosjean, Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz. Perez, Van Dorn, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon. The Professor, Hartley, Lance Stroll, and Marcus Ericsson. Verstappen and Charles Leclerc rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Let's aim for a strong finish to the season.
So yeah, the team a little bit sceptical about obviously the results coming in through these final couple of rounds of the season. It's been 5 races now since we scored points, and obviously I'd really love to score points today. And what is quite a mixed up grid ready for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the whole. You know, we're starting all the way up in P15 now, which I was quite happy with. You know, it certainly was a little bit better than P17, which obviously we were meant to be on. A 2-stop Grand Prix is in store today, but it's 5 lights here for the final race of Season 1. It's the lights out. And away we actually go to a fantastic start there, finally. It's only taken me all season long to get off to a good start. Down the inside of Van Dorn and one of, I think there's Gasly there on the outside. And yeah, we were able to make up those couple of overtakes there. Really happy with that as we come through this first sector here. Up 3 places there, and yeah, as I said, a really actually good start. A couple of people obviously were saying as we go down the inside of Perez there, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact made it between myself and the Force India driver there. We do swing it right around his outside there, potentially up the inside of Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz there. Really on lap 1, we just want to be trying to go for as many potential overtakes as we possibly can. You know, playing a bit risky. We haven't really got too much to lose in this final round of the season there, so yeah, I'm certainly willing to take a whole lot of risks, a whole lot of dive bombs in the early stages of this race, and then obviously the aim or just be to try and hold on to these places here now, all the way up into P9 of this Grand Prix. But by the end of lap 1, though, as you can see, Kimi Räikkönen sets the first lap of the Grand Prix. We're all over the back of Romain Grosjean here, but unfortunately, well, there's only so much you can do with such a weak car on a Formula 1 racetrack here. As you can see, Carlos Sainz is all over the back of me. As we come through the first couple of corners, there's going to be a huge slide there. Lucky we're able to keep that pointing in the right direction there. But yeah, unfortunately, that meant that Sainz was able to, well, it was a completely open door for him, and now back up into P9 of this Grand Prix here. And yeah, unfortunately, Ricciardo is going to try and have a sniff up my inside there as well. We're doing a much better drive on the exit of the corner there, and he's not going to be able to go for anything just yet in this Grand Prix, but only just a couple of laps later as we come out through the very same corner there. It's Daniel Ricciardo now piling on the pressure here. Nothing, as I said, that we were really going to be able to do to defend against the Red Bull driver here. You see slipstream, DRS, ERS I would have thought as well there, and he's, well, going to be all over the back of me. Sends it nicely down the inside there as we come to the end of the first of the long back straights there. Swings it right around the outside. Unfortunately, they're squeezing me out onto what is probably the deadliest curb I think I've actually witnessed on F1 2018. Probably, yeah, it's up there with a couple of the ones at Bahrain and Australia there. We're going to try and go for the switchback move on Ricciardo there. Unfortunately, lock up, pinch the front inside tyre there, and unfortunately we're just going to admit that we have lost out on that position there, and now we drop down to P10 of the Grand Prix there. I think it's actually Valtteri Bottas, who had already made a very early pit stop here in Abu Dhabi here. As we move on to lap 5 though, well, as I said, there's only so much you can do with such a weak performing car here. Esteban Ocon able to, well, have a look up my inside there. And really, you know, Mercedes engine versus Mercedes engine here. It's going to be very, very tough to try and hold on to this position. Ocon, slipstream, ERS, DRS, nothing you're going to be able to do there. Rich revs as well. And, well, yeah, as I said, nothing we're going to be able to do to try and defend from the Pink Panther car there as well. So he will now move up into the points of this Grand Prix there as we now drop down to P11 there. But by lap 8 of this race, sorry, by lap 7 even of this race, we're up to P8 here. As a few drivers had made pit stops there, unfortunately run massively wide on the exit onto the back straight there. Unfortunately dipped the wheels on the curb, and that really cost me a good run there. We think about going to the inside of Van Dorn, but Stroll, my teammate, is going to try and send it down the inside of the Paris there. Fantastic move by him. Parks it in front of the McLaren driver there. We're going to try and hold it. No, we can't. Unfortunately, just get caught on that curve there. And unfortunately, that's going to send us right the way through. Not too sure what happened to my head there. As we make that, well, 360 degree turn there. And unfortunately, yeah, that means we're now going to drop down all the way to P18 of this Grand Prix at the quarterway stage of this race. On to the end of lap 7, though. As you can see, well, the tyres were pretty much shot here. A couple of you guys had sort of said it was probably due to the higher track temperatures around tracks like Bahrain, Brazil, and Mexico here. But I think that is probably quite a good shout on the whole, but it sort of wouldn't make sense as well, you know, for a couple of Grand Prix in Europe, sort of the centre-way stage of this season there as well. But yeah, a good pit stop. Unfortunately, you know, onto a set of the soft compound tyres here is going to be very tough. Try and remain anywhere in terms of this Grand Prix. Not really what I would want for the final round of the season. We're actually going to stay out just ahead of Max Verstappen here, if I do recall. So yeah, we will still be up in P19 then. Not quite last in this race just yet here, but on to lap 16. You can see Hulkenberg actually just came out ahead of me, as well as Charles Leclerc, as we come onto the back straight here. Hulkenberg, Jeff did actually come over the radio as well, saying he was really struggling for pace, and I think he actually had a couple of car issues as well there. So Hulkenberg, we're hopefully going to be able to try and get past here. He's actually going to go very defensive there, so we're going to have to try and move to the outside, go for a bit of a switchback move onto the second of the long back straight here. Are we going to be able to make that work? We try and get a very good traction on the exit of the corner there to the inside of the Renault driver. No chance he's going to be able to try and go defensive on me that time there, and yeah, we are going to be able to move up now into P16 of the Grand Prix there, but unfortunately that would be one of the very last pieces of action I was able to see in this race there. Unfortunately, yeah, pretty much all the AI able to go onto a one-stop Grand Prix there, and well, we just weren't able to make that work there. Verstappen had already jumped past me once more there. You can see the tyres not even that worn, just really no grip here in the desert there. As we come through the final couple of corners there, in for my second pit stop of the day. We've actually got yellow flags out, and a VSC has actually been deployed just as I come into the pit lane there, so that certainly has worked quite well for myself there. Daniel Ricciardo actually retiring from the Grand Prix, which does mean that we're not going to get a single race in this first season where everyone does make it right the way through to the end there. Very unfortunate for Daniel Ricciardo there by the end of the season. Has really had poor reliability over these last few rounds of this season. Now Hartley would be now out ahead of me as well in this race, as Hulkenberg and, well, obviously Ricciardo is now out, so we will then move up into P19 of this Grand Prix there. We can just see the Ferraris out very close behind me, as well as we exit out of the pit lane there. Up into P19 once more of 19 runners there, but unfortunately, well, as we move into the final couple of laps of this race, nothing, well, just we didn't see absolutely anyone through these final few laps of this Grand Prix. The tyres had, well, unfortunately, once again, just completely given up as we come through the first couple of corners there. Losing the back end, well, completely losing the back end there. Actually go for another 360 there, and well, just a heartbreaking way to end off our F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory Season 1 there. Not the way I wanted to finish off in Season 1, but I think it's Sebastian Vettel that will take the final race victory of the season, obviously after a dominant show all season long there ahead of his teammate Kimi Räikkönen. But we're going to come through gutting P19 at the end of the day there. Just no pace, no performance, and not the way I wanted to finish off the season.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Well, after a drive like that, it's got to be Charles Leclerc, hasn't it? Very clean, very smooth. He can be really pleased with that one.
The Constructors' title may already be decided, but Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
So there we are then, guys. That has been the end of Season 1 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory. Ferrari, a dominant display in the final race. Although the game seems to think Mercedes is quicker, Ferrari have clearly trying to go against that. Well, 30 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton in P3 there. Romain Grosjean, a fantastic job in P4, as well as Esteban Ocon there in P5 with Magnussen. Well, Haas, yeah, very good job by those guys with 4th and 6th. Perez in 7th, Charles Leclerc 8th, Fernando Alonso 9th, and my teammate Lance Stroll has actually scored a point in the final round of the season there, able to score a point by just 1/10 of a second over Carlos Sainz. I'm sure that was very close at the end of that race. So a fantastic job means that everyone at the end of Season 1 was able to score points there, and I'm sure Lance is very happy to, at least have 1 point on the board there. Sainz, Verstappen, Ericsson, Gasly, Van Dorn, Hartley, Hulkenberg, Bottas and myself round out of the finishes there, with Daniel Ricciardo actually obviously the only retirement in that Grand Prix. I'm sure he was very disappointed with that in the end of the day there. In terms of the standings, though, obviously we all know Sebastian Vettel has, well, obviously further extended his already unassailable championship lead. There are 142 points clear of Bottas there, who's 12 clear of Hamilton, 14 clear of Kimi Räikkönen there, with Verstappen and Ricciardo very close at the end of the season there. Hulkenberg does finish off as best of the rest, ahead of Perez, who's 1 point clear of Kevin Magnussen there, with Carlos Sainz down in P10. They're unfortunate to lose out on that point in the end there, with Fernando Alonso P11 on 53. A fantastic job in that McLaren car, with Ocon 12 on 50. Myself tied with Romain Grosjean in P13 there on 34, with Van Dorn and Leclerc tied in P15 there as well. Pierre Gasly 17th on 8 points there ahead. Well, he had more points than everyone else behind him combined, with Hartley on 3, Marcus Ericsson on 2, and then Lance Stroll, although he still finishes last, I'm sure he'll certainly be happy that he was able to get a point on the board. Ferrari, 680 points scored in the end of the season, ahead of Mercedes on 552. Red Bull 388, Renault 145 ahead of Force India there. Haas, McLaren, myself, Sauber, and Toro Rosso round out the points in the end there. So P13 and P8, I will certainly take that on the whole after Season 1. But let's move on then into one final interview from Claire. Yeah, quite happy overall. Well, I say quite happy with the result. Overall in the season, quite happy. That race certainly wasn't so happy with that. I'm not going to give any comment on that. I learned I'll never be champion with that car. It's quite possibly the sassiest response to anything I've ever seen there.
You were lucky not to end your race with that crash.
Yes, probably we were actually very lucky there, but I'm not going to say that to Claire there. She's a bit of a stirrer in terms of beef, but she'll give me the very sad, disappointing result there. Oh, sorry, response there at the end of the day. So yeah, mixed season on the whole. I will actually be doing a separate video, sort of having a recap of Season 1. Overall, sort of all the stats, all the figures from Season 1 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory, as well as sort of a huge thank you to you guys as well. But yeah, unfortunately, we did lose that rivalry to my teammate Lance Stroll. We'll set up 2 at the start of next season there, as you can see. Overall R&D points there, we're going to get about 200 from the actual race result in the end there, as well as it's going to be 931 bonus at the end of the season. Takes up now to 4,469 overall as we move into Season 2, so we will certainly have a whole host of upgrades that will hopefully be going on the car as we move into Season 2 there. But yeah, 1,000 R&D point upgrade, really not actually that many on the face of it there, only going to be one upgrade.
Nice job this season. You've been performing well, and that's putting us in a strong negotiating position contract-wise. Plus, my 10% is getting more valuable. So enjoy your break, and keep up the good work next year.
So there we are then, one final word from Claire there to finish off Season 1 of the Career Mode there. And yeah, really just happy, you know, this game came out last Friday, obviously, to the public, and the fact that, well, for me, I've been able to do a whole season of Career Mode there in, I think, 12 days overall. I will certainly take that. In terms of contract, we're going to make it a little bit easier for myself. As I said, we're going to try and make the targets a bit easier moving into Season 2, so we can actually achieve all those R&D points from free practice there. In terms of upgrades, obviously we want a huge bonus of R&D points. Level 2 for upgrade speed, no real point in pit stop efficiency, and then also 2 upgrades per department, and well, the team will accept that. Actually not much of an improvement over my original sort of contract that we already had going at the moment there. But that will be ready for Season 2. In terms of upgrades though, obviously we're going to try and pile on the upgrades before we move into round 1 of Season 2 there. We're sort of going to get the upgrades on the car going in the background there. 4,469 points to spend. It is actually, you know, it's basically like Christmas for me as we go into Season 2 there. And obviously really just hope that we can try and get this car right up to the rest of the field here. In terms of upgrades though, we are really, well, we're going to try and go sort of all over on the whole, as well as go for some quality control. But yeah, a huge thank you to everyone for the support on Season 1. 250,000 views, near enough, and obviously for a channel with 9,000 subscribers, that is absolutely mind-blowing on the whole. But yeah, hopefully Season 2 will be kicking off tomorrow. As I said, there will be a special sort of side video coming out later on this evening as well, sort of talking about the facts and stats of Season 1. As well as, obviously, if you're watching this video on the day of release, I'm hopefully going to be trying to do a live stream as well this evening from the F1 2018 game as well. Open lobbies carnage probably as well, so make sure you do come around for that. But there we are then. That has been Season 1 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory, and hopefully I will see you guys next time in Australia.